Cadence of Conflict, Asia, January 22, 2018. Outcry against China over the Marriott crime of using the survey words country and like in reference to Tibet, Taiwan, and Hong Kong is overrated. China has been shutting down propaganda channels and imprisoning people over such crimes for decades. But now, all of a sudden, China's routine becomes newsworthy? Something is amiss. The press is stirring dissent against China in anticipation of a U.S.-China conflict once the Korean situation is resolved. Without the Kim dynasty, people won't be as panicked. Nothing will sell newspapers like a U.S.-China war. Nothing helps a president get reelected like a war supported by the public. To that end, everyone is playing their role perfectly. The U.S.-China conflict might be made possible merely because of Marriott's cleverly worded survey. Marriott knew what they were getting into when they entered China's market. Marriott has lawyers and newspapers. Marriott should have known better. Management is lucky they are not being charged with attempting to appear as a public-stirring victim, like a Lusitania, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, Rosa Parks, or Trayvon Martin. The fact that China isn't pursuing Marriott for committing the crime on purpose begs the question. Does China understand the subtlety of Western mind games? Maybe they don't. When the press remains free, authorities have to learn how to play more clever games like Jackson, FDR, Reagan, Clinton, W. Bush, Obama, and Trump. When the press isn't free, authorities never develop those skills at playing games with the press. Those governments just print what they want without having to manipulate the press into thinking it was their own idea. If Marriott wanted to start a war, they got the press in both China and the U.S. to print exactly what they wanted as masterfully as Donald Trump does. Does China recognize that or not? It almost seems as if China wants to pay the West the courtesy of a warning shot across the bow. Exit now. That's the Western takeaway anyway. Everyone has their cultural DNA. Individual and social culture can change, but slowly. When a person's individual culture easily and greatly offends a certain group of people, that person will avoid those people rather than change. If that person does change his culture to appease an easily offended group, he will probably lose his friends. Either way, offense builds walls more than bridges. China is known for all three. In the West, being easily offended is a sign of weakness, not strength. China's response will seem like an overreaction in the U.S., thereby not only enraging Americans to support action against China, but emboldening them with the notion that the U.S. would likely win, all on the grounds that Americans believe that easily offended parties are weak. The strong don't care enough to be offended at all. Right? China's response, however, will embolden people within China. Any aggressive power assertion is seen by Chinese culture as a sign of strength and makes the masses gladly get in line. So, both the people of the U.S. and China will be emboldened against each other. Except, of course, for dissidents in both countries. U.S. dissidents will hate the U.S. just as Chinese dissidents will hate China. That's what dissidents do. The big lesson this week: conflict is coming, and everyone knows it. That's the only thing newsworthy. Reporting on the Chinese and Americans acting like Chinese and Americans is news so old, its timing is mere propaganda. And that is the cadence of the conflict already seen in the Pacific.